Winner was Monaco, but Monaco, apparently, they couldn't reach the demands of the cost of the next show, so the following year, we were in Edinburgh.
Uniting our community on 105 FM, Calon FM.
And representing the UK this year, we have the fantastic New Seekers. And coming up after this, we're going to hear from Lyn Paul. Brace yourselves.
What I've been looking for, now it's very clear to me. We should be together.
You make me feel I could reach for the impossible.
And knowing how much you care, I'll be there forever. You know I'll beg, steal or borrow to give you sunny days. And in 100 ways, I'll bring you love. You know I'll beg, steal or borrow,
Yes, I will.
to make your garden grow. And most of all, you know, I'll bring you love.
I always knew that the world could be a finer place. So what if I have to wait?
Better late than never. You're like me, you believe love makes it all worthwhile.
And although we've just begun,
We'll go on forever. You know I'll beg, steal or borrow to give you sunny days. And in 100 ways, I'll bring you love. You know I'll beg, steal or borrow to make your garden grow. And most of all, you know, I'll bring you love.
So in 1972, as I say, the contest was held in Edinburgh, specifically because the Monaco country, they couldn't meet the demands of the cost of the show. They'd won the year before, but the BBC obviously said that they'd pay for it, and we were represented by the already formed New Seekers. And some people know this, I'm quite a good friend of Lyn Paul. We worked together back in the end of the 1990s in a show called Blood Brothers, and Lyn is still on tour with Blood Brothers, incidentally, if you'd like to go and see her. But on Tuesday of this week, I sat down and I had a wonderful chat with Lyn all about the 1972 Eurovision Song Contest. I'd like to make a disclaimer, actually, before we hear this interview. I actually say that I don't think we'll win with Lucy Jones's song tonight. That's only because we never do win, not because the song's not very good. You've got to understand that. I've been getting hot all day thinking about that thing that I said. But yeah, so here we go then. Speaking to Lyn Paul on Tuesday. Here she is, Miss Lyn Paul from the New Seekers. You were already an established band at that point?
Were we already?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd already had Look What They've Done to My Song. No, Never Ending Song of Love, sorry, as a hit.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if Teach the World to Sing hadn't come out then, I don't think. But no, we were we were pretty successful, but nothing like we were after we did the Eurovision, because we spent 13 weeks in the studios in Shepherd's Bush on the Cliff Richard show, doing one song each week, and then the public, on the 13th week, the public chose which song they wanted. So by the time we'd finished in the studios, we were mobbed. The whole of Shepherd's Bush was thousands of these teenage girls. It was the very first time that there'd ever been a girls in a band that were being mobbed.
Yeah.
So we were the first people to have that accolade, if you like.
Right.
It's nice.
So, I mean, I was going to ask you actually what the process was, but that pretty much sounds like the same as it was. Well, now it's like a little competition that they have, don't they, to choose the British song?
Yes.
But so then,
and they also have a competition to choose the singer, whereas we were chosen, and then it was down to us to sing all the songs. And it was actually very good. I mean, it was, it really was down to the public to choose. I mean, it was a very close call between the song that we did and another one, a ballad. So I mean, it was, it was a lot of fun. It was great.
Was it your favourite out of the lot?
If I'm absolutely honest with you, Andy, I can't even remember the others. So, you know, we just went on there, sang, and just hoped for the best.
Yeah.
But it was a lovely time. It was a great experience, I have to say.
So, but the whole thing was, it was your job to do. All you had to do was sing the song that was chosen for you.
Yeah,
right.
That's what we did. We were given 12 songs. We were told that 12 songs had been chosen from the hundreds that came in, and we learnt the 12 songs, and each week we sang one on the Cliff Richard Show, and then on the 13th week, as I say, from the end of the 12th, for a week, the audience voted, and of course then there wasn't the social media and stuff like that there is now, so of course people were writing in, which I think was pretty incredible, that people took pen to paper and wrote in and voted on postcards and things, you know?
Yeah, but I think back then as well, I mean, my family's always been into the Eurovision Song Contest night. They always loved it.
Yeah.
But people were more involved in it. Nowadays, a lot more people, they don't seem to be bothered. And I think it's a real shame, because, I mean, you'll get the kids sitting down and watching the X Factor, but they won't watch the Eurovision Song Contest for some reason. I don't know why.
No, well, I don't, and I think it's, you know, I mean, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We always sit and watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, we get bored halfway through. But,
yeah.
You
well,
know, and get up and get a glass of wine or a cup of tea or whatever.
Yeah.
But we never miss it. We always watch it.
Yeah, do you score it and everything?
No, we used to many years ago, but now no, we just sit and pick holes now.
Yeah.
And we used to enjoy Terry Wogan. We love Terry Wogan, but I think Graham Norton does quite a good job now.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
So I mean, for me, that's one of the highlights of it.
Yeah.
And then of course, then we wait for the British entry, and then we sit there and pray.
Yeah. Have you heard our entry this year?
No, I haven't. Have you?
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll win.
No.
But no, I know. Yeah, she's a lovely girl. Lucy Jones, her name is. She was in the X Factor.
Oh, right.
But I was going to say, she's already out there. She's been out there, I think, a fortnight now.
Yeah.
Is that what you did? Did you have to go out there early doors and rehearse?
Well, we didn't. We did ours in Edinburgh.
Oh, right.
So we didn't exactly have far to go. I think we were there probably about a week before. And it was pretty hectic, I have to say. It was pretty, high stuff. It was, but the lovely part about it was that we were at the Caledonian Hotel in Edinburgh. We all stayed there.
Yeah.
Everybody that was involved in the show, and there was green rooms. So at the end of every rehearsal, at the end of every day, it would be each country's turn to go to the green room, and that was probably the highlight of it all.
Yeah. So go on then to the night of the event. I mean, it always looks amazing fun, but it must be so nerve-wracking.
Well, yes, it is, but perhaps not quite so when you're in a group, because there's 5 of you that are all on there, and if you've got backup, I would imagine that it's pretty nerve-wracking, well, pretty dreadful to be solo.
Yeah.
It's not something that I would enjoy at all. But when you're with a group, there's 5 of you all up there, and you're all having a good time, and we were very young,
yeah.
You know, so I mean, it was just a case of having a ball.
Yeah.
You know, everything was a lot of fun at the time, and that's basically what it was all about, the Eurovision. I mean, I don't think when you're younger, you don't really realise the seriousness of anything.
No.
You know, I mean, I look back sometimes and think I wish I could have enjoyed it more and realised just how lucky I was to have the opportunities that I had. But of course, you don't know that, you know.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you remember what part on the bill you were? Were you near the beginning?
No, but I did get sent a video. A DVD, sorry, video. Right. That's how old I am.
Yeah.
A DVD of the whole contest. So, but I can't remember anything about that side of it. No, I remember my dress. I remember it getting ripped, and all sorts of silly things like that. But actually, where we were on the bill, no clue.
And back in those days, they used to have a big orchestra, didn't they?
Yes, and our orchestra, if you. The actual leader there was Dave Mackay, who was our record producer. So each country brought their own musical director with them.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, you came second?
Yes, we did. We were ranked first, near enough all the way through, and then there was the usual political vote. And I can't remember by how many points we lost, but it was by very few. So, but at the time, you know, people say, "Oh God, you must have been devastated." No, you know, it was just competition.
Yeah.
You know, we came second. That's it. Finished.
Yeah. But for the winners back then, it was
Big thing.
It would have made you if you weren't already made. You were already made as a band. I mean, you were already established.
Well, exactly, and Beg, Steal or Borrow went to #1, so we it didn't really, you know, we'd already had hits before that, and we went on to have hits afterwards. So maybe you know, I don't know, maybe we didn't realise the brevity of it all at the time, but you know, it was something that, if I was younger, I would like to experience again, but certainly not now. I wouldn't, you know, wouldn't put myself through that now.
No, it does look like it'll put years on you.
Oh God, can you imagine? I mean, I struggle to remember anything at the moment, but trying to remember the lyrics of a song in front of thousands of people, forget it. Yeah.
Which you do every night, Lyn. What are you talking about?
Oh, no, Andy, you know, you've worked with me, you know full well I don't always remember the lyrics. I just make them up as I go along sometimes.
You know how beg, steal or borrow to give you sunny days, and in 100 ways I'll bring you love. You know how beg, steal or borrow, yes I will, to make your garden grow, and most of all you know, I'll bring you love.
So did you notice for the band? Did life get really hectic then after the Eurovision, or?
Well, it already was.
Yeah.
Because we'd already had hits anyway, so it already was hectic, but it became far more intense after Teach the World to Sing rather than Beg, Steal or Borrow.
Yeah.
So, but it was, I mean, it was more the change in the dynamics of the audiences, you know, I mean, the kids screaming in the streets, and when we were at the Caledonian, they actually broke down the doors of the hotel. They were swing doors, and they actually broke them down to try and get to us who were in the lobby, and we were ushered out quickly right through to the kitchens, and we had the usual, you know, when we came back from the Caledonian, from the Usher Hall, we had to go in through the kitchens because there were thousands outside. I've got some great photographs of all that.
Yeah.
So that's what changed more than anything. The following, you know, before that we had hits, but we weren't exactly mobbed. But from then on in, it was like being we were pop stars. You know, so.
What's that like to be involved in that? Because it always looks, from the outsider looking in, it always looks like really good fun.
Well, it's frightening sometimes.
Is it? Yeah.
Frightening. I remember being on a number of occasions being in a car being driven out, and they were climbing on the car, they were banging, they were trying to get through the windows, and it is quite frightening because the car can't move because there's people in front of it.
Yeah.
So we had to have police brought in on a number of occasions, and then there's times when, like when I said my dress was ripped at the Usher Hall, our manager in his ultimate wisdom said, as you're coming out of the Usher Hall during one of the rehearsals, it was a dress rehearsal, just walk to the barriers and say hello to some people. Worst thing he could have said, because of course the barriers came down and they just clambered all over us. We had to have this big burly man coming and picking me up and taking me to the car, and it was dragging me through to this car, and my dress was ripped, and of course it was only a dress rehearsal, we still had the show to do. So it could be pretty scary at times, and I'm sure it must be a lot worse for the people these days, you know, our young stars these days. It must be dreadful for them.
Yeah. How old were you then?
21.
21. That's the same age as my boy.
Yes.
God. So for your mum and dad looking at that, they must have been absolutely petrified for you.
Well, they were there. So they came up, they stayed at the Caledonian with us, and when the doors were broken down, they were actually in the foyer of the hotel. Wow. And of course my dad was up and grabbed hold of me, and, you know, and
yeah.
So yeah, but they were involved in all of it with me. They came with me nearly everywhere, so, you know, they were always there.
Right. Fantastic. And they must be so, I mean, for parents, I always think about the parents now. Now I am one.
Yeah.
But because I mean, I've spoken to a few of the kids who have been on the X Factor.
Yeah.
And I say to them, because we're watching the X Factor and they get ribbed and they get knocked back constantly.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I've never heard anybody say anything negative to any of my kids after they've sung, and I would hate to think that someone was saying something negative just in the sense of, you know, this will make good telly.
Yeah.
So I said, how do your mum and dad not? And like a few of them say they have to hold them back from going and having a quiet word with Simon Cowell.
Yeah.
Because that would be me. I mean, I'm not like that. But I couldn't. I don't think I could handle it.
No, I definitely couldn't. Oh, I definitely couldn't. You don't have to say one wrong word, and I'd be straight in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't. I couldn't just stand there and let them criticise him.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
What was I going to ask you? One more question. Oh yeah, I was going to ask you about the Teach the World to Sing.
Yeah.
Was that your biggest hit?
Yes.
That was worldwide, wasn't it?
So over 28 million. Yes.
Wow. What's that feel like?
Pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it's a hell of a thing. I mean, it's one of the biggest songs to ever have been written, sold, and performed. It was the very first advert to become a single. So yeah, it's pretty incredible to be involved in something like that, and I'm very grateful to it, because without all of that, I wouldn't still be working 50 years on.
Sing with me. Perfect harmony. Perfect harmony. And I'd like to hold it in my arms and keep it company. I'd like to see the world for once, all standing hand in
Teach the World to Sing was pretty phenomenal, especially when we listened to we did the advert first, and once we'd done the commercial, they said that they thought it was going to be really big, and that we ought to do a single. And we just laughed. We said, single? It's nothing. It just, you know, there's nothing to it. Well, became sold 28 million, so how wrong were we? But people used to come to the shows, and we did some big shows, especially in places like New Zealand and Canada and America. Thousands came, and they would stand there with their bottles of Coke and lift their Cokes up and sing. I know, you know, at least the glamorous as a light.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
But yeah, it was a nice time, a very nice time.
Yeah. Do you remember when we did that those evenings in London?
Yes.
Was it for the Terence Higgins or something?
Yeah.
It was something like that. And we sang that.
Yes.
And I can distinctly remember thinking at the time, this is a bit of a touch, this, because you do get kind of when you work with people, you just sort of, you know, you just say, well, hello, and life's just normal. And then suddenly something will happen, and you'll go, oh, yeah, it's this. I can't believe I'm singing this.
All we are jobbing actors, jobbing singers. All we're trying to do is earn a living, aren't we? That's all. Pay the bills, earn a living, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, don't know.
No.
You know, you never know what's around the corner, Andy.
Listen, Lyn, thanks ever so much for that.
You're very welcome.
I really appreciate it.
All right, love, and give my love to Janet.
I will do, thanks.
All right, darling.
Well, all the best. Take care of yourself.
And you too.
And
everybody.
Enjoy the Eurovision on Saturday night.
All right, love. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Bye, love. Bye.
That's Lyn Paul.
Ever since I was a young boy, I played the silver ball. From Soho down to Brighton, I must have played the ball. But I ain't seen nothing like him in any amusement hall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball. He stands like a statue, becomes part of the machine. Feeling all the bumpers and always plays clean. Plays by intuition, the digit counters fall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball. He's a pinball wizard, it has to be a quiz. A pinball wizard got such a sour wrist. How do you think he does it? I don't know. What makes him so good?
So there you go, Lyn Paul from the New Seekers that represented the UK in the 1972 Eurovision Song Contest up there in Edinburgh. Thanks ever so much for her for that. Brilliant, absolutely awesome. I can't believe it, actually. I've worked with Lyn Paul for 3 years at the back end of the 1990s, and never once did we have a conversation about the Eurovision Song Contest or the being in the New Seekers. And you know what I'm like, I'll pick anybody's brains about anything. Nosy, I think they call it. But if you would like to see Lyn in the touring production of Blood Brothers, you are in luck, because to the end of August she goes out back on the road with it. August the 29th in Guildford, then up to Glasgow, then all the way down to Cardiff, then Milton Keynes, then more locally for us here in Chester, the Story House, bit of a catch for them, then Leicester, then Dunfermline, Bradford, and finishing off in Northampton, Derngate on the 11th of November. Lyn Paul from the New Seekers, absolutely fan-dabby double dozy.
Uniting our community on 105 FM. Calon FM.
Right, 1973 found us with this.
Power to all our friends, to the music that never